Hey guys, welcome back. It's Will here once again for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night from Brazil as Cris Cyborg faces off against the Debutant Lina Lansberg in a 140-pound catchweight bout here. Cris Cyborg's first UFC main event nonetheless. Overall a pretty decent card. We're going to get into breaking that down in a second. I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers, the people who liked, the people who commented, to the new subscribers. I gained about 15 to 20 of them from the last card. Thank you very much, I really do appreciate it. But come and say hello in the drop down box and try and speak with some of the other guys who regularly comment on my videos and get into talking about the fights and stuff like that. So come and do that. You can follow me on Twitter, WillMartin7MMA. Coming off a fairly decent card, 8-3 with the one draw in there. Did okay. I thought Morales should have got that decision personally, so I could have been 9-2. But I'm on a good run of picks at the minute from the last few months, just trying to keep it steadily going. These kind of cards are the ones I do really well on, or I bomb very, very badly on. I've went 11-1, 12-1 in the past, and I've also went 2-10 with all the underdogs winning as well. So hoping I can pick some right ones for you here, and we'll get into it. As always, you can follow everybody that I watch their videos on, listen to their content, watch their interviews, listen to their podcasts. Bestfightpicks.com, go Daniel Levy. Best Fight Picks on Twitter with Half the Battle, great stuff. Rockstar Z makes his quick picks here every week, great stuff. Flying Brian makes a highly produced, very well done videos on here. I wish I could be something like that, but we'll maybe see in the past. I just like me sitting here with all you, speaking about the fights. There is James Lynch, who does interviews with fighters not in the UFC, fighters coming into the UFC, just great interviews. Severe MMA, the best podcast over here in Europe, and there is plenty of other stuff. Talking Brawls, John and Mike's MMA Corner, stuff I listen to all the time. The Heavy Hands podcast is another one. We're going to get into this one though, because I'm just rattling on a little bit. Starting off in the lightweight division with a debutant and Gregor Gillespie face off against Franca. Now, Gregor Gillespie is a guy I've been looking forward to seeing come into the UFC for a while now. A 4-time Division 1 All-American wrestler. I think he won himself a national title, and I've been watching his fights for a while. I've been waiting for him to get his chance to come into the UFC here. Undefeated fighter, 7-0. Fought in Ring of Combat. He was their lightweight champion there. And this guy is a bulldog once he gets you on the ground. He just jumps on your back. He manoeuvres himself. He transitions so well. And he sticks to you like glue. He does not let you get kind of advantageous positions. And once he gets out a submission in, he's very, very hard to kind of get off. The one thing I like about it as well, that he's faced guys with winning records. Now I know the winning records is not a huge deal coming through, but you see a lot of guys coming to the UFC with padded records, with high wins against people with high losses on their record. This guy is not for anybody. I think one guy was 0-0 in his second or third fight. Other guys are 3-0. Another one was 5-2. His last fight against Sydney Outlaw, it was a very close fight, that one. I don't think he was fully on his game, that one, for Gillespie, but he managed to pull it out and he got the split decision victory there. As I said, a really top-notch wrestler with excellent control, excellent temperament. He'll not rush things, but he'll find his way to mount very, very quickly. He just needs a sneak of an opportunity to do so, and he is on you very, very quickly, and he's pounding down with strikes. I mean, his fight with Jose Mariscal, he just kind of managed to get on to the mount. And Mariscal turned around, he was on his back, and he was just raining punches left and right and got the stoppage victory there. Tough opponent here, though, Gregor Franca. Franca's coming off that loss at UFC 197 to James Vick, and that's one of the fights I personally enjoyed, being in the crowd watching that fight. Very, very close. James Vick just always seemed that little bit ahead, but Gregor Franca is very, very tough. I mean, he took some big shots from James Vick. I think he took some knees. He took a spinning back fist that looked like it really hurt him, but he kept going, tried to kind of put his will onto James Vick, but Vick's a tough guy. And after the fight, I managed to get to meet Gregor. I spoke to him a little bit. He says he felt like he lost that fight, but there wasn't much in it, and I truly believe that. Like that, he's fighting back here in his homeland of Brazil. This is a very close fight. Now, Gregor Gillespie is going to have to take this guy down to win this fight, and I think that Franca is more than... I think he can take Franca down. Whether he can ride him out for 3 rounds and get decision victory in Brazil. I'm just not sure about that one little bit. I really want to pick Gregor Gillespie in this one. You know what, I'm going to pick Gregor Gillespie. I was going to pick, my initial thoughts was going to be Franca, because Franca is a big guy. He's got like a 5 or 6 inch height advantage over him here, so he's a guy really, really hard to get down, and I think that's his best skill set, is his grappling. I'm going out in a long shot here, I think, because say in Brazil, first fight of the night, Gregor Gillespie is going to really have to do something to stand out and win the decision. I'm going to take that shot on him, and I'm going to pick him via decision, but I think it could easily go to Franca here. But I feel more confident picking Gregor Gillespie, not by much. I'm kind of chopping and changing that a little bit, but I'm going to go with that one. Moving on, welterweight division, we have Vicente Luque against Hector Urbina. Really, I'm a fan of Urbina. Vicente Luque. I think this is a guy who's really coming through and coming into his own in the welterweight division. We saw last time out against Alvaro Herrera. Now Herrera is a stand-up fighter. He's got no grappling or wrestling whatsoever. You saw that in the fights. He wouldn't spread his legs wide enough for him to stop getting taken down. They were pointing at his opponent instead of away from his opponent when he was against the cage. Brian Stan said that perfectly. But he's putting all his facets together as Vicente Luque, and once he gets you to the ground, really tough guy, moves to advantageous positions very, very easily. The one thing that I don't like is head movement. He leaves his head in kind of stationary positions, where with better welterweights, and there's plenty of them in that welterweight division, he will get cracked and he could easily get taken out. I don't... that's something that I think he really has to improve on, but the Brazilians are on a roll at the minute. Michael Johnson coming off that amazing knockout at the weekend there. I like Vicente Luque. I like that he's getting a chance to fight back home again, because I think this guy he's got some potential about him in that welterweight division. I really do. And he's got himself a good matchup here against Hector Urbina. Urbina, a guy who was supposed to face George Sullivan before he got pulled from the Chicago card. Last time lost to Bartosz Fabinski. Got taken down very, very easily, and was just pretty laid on for 15 minutes of the fight. I think Luque can have the same success here. I think that Urbina's going to come out, swing wild, and in that transition of the fight, he's going to get taken down. And I think that Luque could definitely finish this guy. I'm going to go, if not a dominant decision, I'm going to go a submission for Vicente Luque. I'm going to go end of round number 2. Moving on to the feature fight pass fight for the night, we have Alan Patrick against Scotland's very, very own Stevie Ray. I'm a Stevie Ray fan, obviously. He's from my country here. Anybody that fights for my country, I'm going to support kind of wholeheartedly, because there's not that too many high class ones about. But Stevie Ray is just a phenomenal guy, first of all, but a really good fighter as well. I'm glad to see he's getting a fight here, because he's supposed to fight back in the summer in International Fight Week. That got pulled, and he's been out a long time, so looking forward to seeing him here. He's got a tough opponent here, especially in Brazil against Patrick. Patrick coming off that win over Damian Brown last time out, where he won that. Before that, he got knocked out by Mirbek Taisumov. Stevie Ray, a fighter who is just coming through in leaps and bounds in the UFC. To start off with, found it a little bit tougher last time out when he fought. I think he was against the very tough Michel Lebu. Is that nearly a year ago? Holy shit, it is. October 24th. And he just didn't seem, even say to me after the fight, he couldn't get off. And Lebu's tough. Lebu is he's one of those tough French fighters. No shame in going to decision with that guy. Before that, he beat Leonardo Mafra, Marcin Bandel. He beat Kurt Warburton before that in Cage Warriors to defend his title. I like this fight for Stevie Ray, but Alan Patrick is very, very unorthodox fighter to face. He's kind of weird with his footwork, weird with his angles, throws some funky stuff, looks to spin on you, but he does leave his chin in the air, and I think that's where Stevie can capitalise here with the uppercuts. He needs to kind of use some good lateral movement as well and get in there. But I see this fight being a lot like the Marcin Bandel one here. I can see him taking this fight to the ground, and Stevie Ray has some vicious ground and pound. He showed that in that fight against Marcin Bandel. I'm going to pick Stevie Ray. This would be a great win for him over there in Brazil, and hopefully get him onto a European card over here soon enough so I can see him fight again. I'm going to go Stevie Ray via TKO in round number 2 via ground and pound. I think that's what he needs to do in this fight here. Moving on, Eric Silva against Luan Chagas. Well, let's start with Eric Silva. I thought he would have beaten Phillipe last time out, but that chin of his is gone. To be fair, Phillipe caught him with a really nice shot coming in and put the lights out, but he just didn't look good. And I mean, this guy's not a young prospect anymore. I think he's 33 years old, and I mean, he hasn't really beat anybody with any substance in the UFC. I don't see him sticking around too much longer. I think this might be the last time we see him here in the UFC. And he's got a tough opponent here in Luan Chagas, who came in very short notice against Sergio Moraes and really got about him in that fight there and dropped Sergio Moraes with a beautiful shot there. But it's all Eric Silva's a guy I'm just expecting things to happen, and it's just not really coming off. I think he's very easy to read what he's going to do. I think if he was used his grappling a little bit more, I think he'd be a lot more dangerous. I do think he's got really good submissions, but I like Chagas in this one. I just can't pick Eric Silva. I've got no confidence in picking him. Could he be on something being back in Brazil? That could happen, because I think that down in Brazil it's a very much a grey area down there with fighters, whether they're on stuff or not, because they don't go down, they don't get tested that much. He could be on something, but he is working at King's MMA with Master Rafael Cordeiro, so that's something to take into consideration here. I just can't pick him. I can't pick Eric Silva here, but he is in Brazil, where he usually does half decent down there. I'm going to pick Luan Chagas. I think he's going to take him down and just kind of dominate with strikes from advantageous positions on the ground and win a decision victory. I actually hope Eric Silva wins, because I am a little bit of a fan of his. I was in the past. I thought he had potential. It's clear as day that he hasn't anymore, I don't think. But my official pick's going to be Chagas v decision. Flyweight division, Jussier Formiga against Dustin Ortiz. I'm going to pick Jussier Formiga in this one. I was extremely confident last time out in Dustin Ortiz against Wilson Hayes, and I thought he got schooled on the ground there, and I think that Formiga he did that to Wilson Hayes. So I know MMA math doesn't really kind of particularly work, but Formiga has shown improvements on his feet. He's done enough to kind of really stay relevant on the feet, but once he goes to the ground, he's an extremely high level guy down there. On that being said, I would like to see Dustin Ortiz win, but you're going down into Brazil, you're going to have to do something pretty spectacular to come out there with a decision, not unless you're just very dominant. So my pick's going to be Jussier Formiga. I'm going to pick him via decision. I think it could be a close one. I'm going to go a split decision. I can just see it being really close, and maybe Ortiz getting a card in this one, but I'm going to go, my pick has to be Jussier Formiga. Moving on, we have Rani Yahya against Michinori Tanaka. Rani Yahya, I picked against him last time out in Sioux Falls against the newcomer in Matt Lopez, and I've been watching Lopez. I was very impressed with him coming in there, and sometimes I'm prone to picking the new guys coming in, kind of like Gregor Gillespie here, but he did very well in that one, controlled Lopez on the ground, and just you could see he was a clear level against Matt Lopez down there. Michinori Tanaka beat Joe Soto in a very fun fight last time out. That could have easily went to Joe Soto in that one as well. I like Rani Yahya in this one. I think his experience in the cage, grappling wise, is very substantial in this fight here. He's coming off a 3-fight win streak. Johnny Bedford, tough guy to fight. Masanori Kanehara is another tough guy, and then that win over Lopez. I think he's going to find a way to get this fight to the ground, and I believe he's just a level above Michinori Tanaka. So Rani Yahya, have your decision there for me. Lightweight division, we have Gilbert Burns against Michel Prazares. Now, I'm a fan of Gilbert Burns, and I've been. If you've watched my videos for a long time, I've been hyping this guy up. I think he's got a lot of potential in that division. And is he starting to show it? I really hope so, because on the ground, this guy, nobody touches this guy once he gets going, in my opinion. 2 or 3 times world champion no-gi. I think it was 2011 World Jiu-Jitsu. He won that, and then he won a couple of no-gis and things like that. I remember watching those Jiu-Jitsu matches back in the day, and he's coming off a beautiful win over Luque Jussier back at the Dos Anjos and Alvarez fight, I remember. Before that, lost to Rashid Magomedov, where Magomedov is just he's one of the most underrated guys in that division, and he's going to come through in the next 18 months to really put himself in the forefront of that division, in my opinion. Beat Oliveira, where he was clearly down 2 rounds, but showed enormous heart and managed to grab a submission in round number 3. Michel Prazares is your typical kind of lay and pray fighter. He wants to get you to the ground, and he wants to keep you there and just kind of lie on you. He wants to blanket you for the whole fight. He did that against GC Cottrell last time out. Vladimir Lazaro, I thought Lazaro should have really got that decision, if I'm being honest with you. My pick's going to be Gilbert Burns here. I'm going to go with it. I think could he submit him? I think he can submit anybody in that division. I really do. I think he's that high level in there, with improving striking skills, that he can stop people in there. But I'm going to go Gilbert Burns. I'm going to go a 3rd round submissions. I mean, Prazares is a tough guy to fight, so I am going to pick him. It could easily be a decision victory for Burns here, but I'm going to try and see if I can find more finishes on these cards. So Gilbert Burns for a 3rd round submission. So we are moving on to the main card, a 6-fight main card I'm seeing here. Godofredo Pepey faces off against Mike De La Torre. Godofredo coming off that loss to Darren Elkins, where Darren Elkins does what Darren Elkins always does, and it's just, he is the number one at grinding people out, and he did so very well in that fight. But Godofredo Pepey was fighting America, I think, for the first time. The guy has never ever been tested by USADA, which it pops up for nearly a year and a half, 2 years, however long USADA's been around. He's never been tested, which is a little bit kind of funky. Comes to America, but he did face a tough guy and then lost. But when he fights in Brazil, this guy is kind of dynamite, and you see some phenomenal finishes from this guy, like we have in the past. Nour Lahat, flying knee, really hurting there. Deshaun Johnson, a beautiful submission via triangle armbar, and then Andre Phillipe, he just kind of leapt on his shoulders and got the flying triangle choke there. I like him in this fight against Mike De La Torre. De La Torre is coming off that very fun fight against Yui Chul Nam back in November. But before that, he got knocked out clean by Maximo Blanco last summer. And I think that Pepey, he throws really funky stuff that you don't know where it's really coming from. You could throw a flying knee, which could get him into a takedown, or he's just that kind of weird guy. He'll throw something and he'll catch with it, like he did against Lahat. A lot of speed and quite good technique with it as well. Once it goes to ground, if he gets a hold of something like the triangle, which we've seen against Phillipe and Deshaun Johnson in the past, he will put you to sleep. De La Torre, I know he trains out the lab, so he trains with pretty good guys over there. I like Pepey in this one. I like him by submission. I just think he's going to want to prove himself again after that loss to Darren Elkins. I'm going to go a late 1st round submission for Godofredo Pepey in that one. Middleweight division. Thiago Santos against Eric Spicely. Eric Spicely. This is how bad it is. He's travelling down to Brazil. Brazil's a lovely country, albeit, even though I've never been. But from what I hear, it's a lovely country. But he is going down there, and this guy I think he's going to get beat up really, really badly in this one. My most confident pick in the whole entire card, I know there's Christine Cyborg up there, who is pretty much a lock to win. I like Thiago Santos in this one. Don't see what Eric Spicely is really going to do to Santos. I think Santos as well, after that loss at UFC 200 against Masasi, he'll want to come out here and show what he's all about, because that was a big stage and he went down and won there. Thiago Santos, 1st round TKO, I can see this happening in the very first minute. I can see him attacking the body and just folding Eric Spicely. And I'm showing no disrespect to Eric Spicely here. This is just not a good matchup. But in saying that, if he does get the fight to the ground, he has a chance down there. I just don't see it getting there. Thiago Santos, first round KO. Lightweight division, we have Francisco Trinaldo against Paul Felder. Now, I love watching Paul Felder fight. I really do. I have done for the last couple of years. But this guy is so... It kind of aggravates me a little bit when I watch him, because his fight IQ is not great. And he goes into... I mean, I think he hurt his last opponent there. And... he really kind of hurt him, and then he decided to go to the ground with him, which was Josh Buckman. That's who it was. Yeah, he decided to really go in there and strike, and he did that. Then he hurt him, and then decided to go to the place where he clearly, I don't think, had the advantage down there. He does enough to really keep himself in the fight down in there, but his fight IQ is just not great. I think if this guy was to just focus on his technique and his striking, I think he's got enough to keep himself in the feet here, where he could really, he could do all right and win fights. But I can't trust him to pick here. I mean, he had a beautiful submission over Darren Cruikshank. He had the fights with Barboza and Pearson, where he just kind of really wanted to stand in that one, and they mixed it up on him a little bit there. But yeah, I like Paul Felder. I just can't pick him in this fight. I want to pick him. He is an underdog. He is plus 115. In fact, I am going to pick him. I'm going to stick with him one more time. I'm going to give him one more opportunity. Now, I know he has a very tough opponent here in Francisco Trinaldo, especially in Brazil. See, look, I'm doubting myself in this pick already. Will not be betting this fight. I know that Felder is a kind of live dog in this one, where he could possibly hurt Trinaldo. But I'm going to have to go with Francisco Trinaldo. I just think, being in Brazil, he's got enough to kind of really keep it on the feet and maybe keep it competitive with Felder on there. I mean, this guy, is he really on a 6-fight win streak? Holy shit. Leandro Silva, Akbar Areola. I remember watching these fights, but I didn't think they were all streaked into one. I thought he might have had a loss in there. Norman Park, which I thought he probably could have lost that fight. Charlie Priest with a knockout. Ross Pearson is a really good win, and then he beat Yancy Medeiros in a very fun fight at UFC 198. I see this going to decision, and the way that Paul Felder fights, I can't pick him in this one. I really can't. I'm going to go with Francisco Trinaldo. I think he's just the safer pick. I think he fights a wee bit smarter than Paul Felder, so that's my pick there. I'm going to pick him via decision. Heavyweight division. Roy Nelson against Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Roy Nelson, first round knockout. Antonio Silva should not be fighting, in my opinion. The guy's chin, he doesn't. I mean, I think Roy Nelson could flick a jab at Antonio Silva here and knock him out senseless. I mean, he's lost 4 of his last 5, and they're all via knockout, and they're all in the first round. I'm not going to get into this too much. I know that Roy Nelson's coming off a loss to Derek Brunson, which I think he honestly probably won. Roy Nelson first round TK. I'm not really getting into that one too much. Co-main event, we have Renan Barao against Phillipe Nover. I mean, Renan Barao was up here. Now he's all the way. I mean, this guy has fell all the way down the ranks. I know he's still new to the featherweight division, but man, it's crazy to think what can happen in a space of 2 years, a year and a half, 18 months. It's crazy. I mean, he's went from facing the elite guys to Phillipe Nover. No disrespect to the guy, a tough guy, veteran guy, but yeah, he's got a lot of work to get himself back up to that level he was when he had that belt around his waist down in the 135 pound division. We'll start with his last fight. He fought Jeremy Stephens last time out. First round, he looked like the old Renan Barao, but then he got clipped with shots. This guy's head just stays there, and when you're facing guys like Jeremy Stephens, who has got a little bit of speed and he's got a shit ton of power, he is going to find a way to really put it on you. And how he didn't finish. I thought he might have finished Renan Barao kind of in that third round with the amount of pressure he was piling on, but didn't find a way to do it. Phillipe Nover is coming off that, I think it was a loss, was it? Or a win? A loss. Zubara to Hugov. It was a very close fight back in December. I keep thinking Yuichil Nam, I knew he knew win that fight, but it was a close fight. If he pushed himself a little bit more, I think he could have won that one. But have to pick Renan Barao here. I don't think he's fallen. I know he's fallen down. I don't think he's fallen down that far to lose to Phillipe Nover. I can see it being a little bit close early on. I can see it being close if it goes over kind of first round and midway into the fight. I can see it maybe getting closer towards the end. Pick has to be Renan Barao here. Do I see him finishing Phillipe Nover? I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to go mid-round in round number 2 win for Renan Barao. I'm going to go TKO victory for Barao right in the middle of the second round, just as it starts to kind of get into the middle part of the fight where I think Nover could come into it. I think Barao might catch him and knock him out via TKO there. So Barao via TKO in round number 2. In the main event, we have Christine Justino against Lina Lansberg. Is this a kind of lamb to the slaughter fight here? I believe it is. Seeing that who is, everybody's kind of lamb to the slaughter when you're putting it in there with Cyborg. I mean, Lina Lansberg, I've known about this girl for the last couple of years. I saw her first fight when she faced former Cage Warriors champion Pani Kianzad. Lost that one. It's the only loss on her record, but it's reeled off 6 wins since. And seen her in Cage Warriors a few times against Emma Delaney, Laura Howarth, where she really busted Howarth up right in the nose, and she never came out for the second round. Delaney, she caught with a real nice combination to put her on her backside. She's got some vicious elbows. Beat Alexandra Lucy Pudilova, and then she beat Maria Highgard in her last fight 6 months ago via KO. She was a 5-6 fighter, so I'm probably waffling on a little bit too much here. It's going to be Cris Cyborg via round number 1 knockout here. She did it to Leslie Smith, who I think Leslie Smith would beat Lina Lansberg. I think it'd be close. I think Lansberg is a fairly decent fighter. But no, you're not going to come in here to Brazil and knock out Christine Cyborg. I just don't see it. But Cyborg is cutting that little bit more weight to 140 with her chin. Maybe it's affected against a big hitter. Is Lansberg that hitter? I don't think she is. I think that Cyborg, whenever she wants to finish this fight, can really kind of finish this fight. She showed that against Leslie Smith, just a really strong finish, and took out a really tough girl there. But on the other hand, I think I might pick Lansberg in the Toutmaster pool that I'm in, just for the simple fact she's such a huge underdog, and losing 1 point in Cyborg, even though I am in the top 10, I am 9th and I'm right outside the money positions. Top 8 gets that. I think taking the opportunity, take a chance just in case the biggest of Hail Marys comes off and Lansberg lands something, I will do that. But my official pick will be Christine Cyborg via knockout in round number 1, and she's probably going to be the highest on DraftKings. She's probably going to be the, what can we say, 12.5, 13,000 maybe? Who knows? We'll see. We'll soon find out through the middle of the week. That's my picks here for UFC Fight Night 95. I really want to thank you all once again for liking, commenting and subscribing to the videos over the last few months. It's really do appreciate it. All the guys I mentioned at the start, please go and check out their stuff. They're just top guys, good guys, and they will help you out there as well. And I'll be back probably next week with UFC Fight Night 96. John Dodson against John Lineker. That's a great fight. Some really fun fights on that card as well with Smoke and Pettis. Some really competitive fights on there. Come follow me on Twitter, WellMartin7MMA. I'll be back next week. Until then, please enjoy the fight card when it comes around this Saturday. And I will see you all very, very soon.